I'm Metro Fire Deputy Chief Operations Adam Mitchell here with Chief Harms. Coming with an update for you today. We have a few items we wanted to talk about. So anything you want to start off with, Chief? Saying hi.
No, we just have a bunch of items, and both Adam and I know that the ability to connect as much as is happening within the district with you is just really important. So let's start about the statewide responses.
Yeah, it's been a busy, as we continue through fire season, continues to be very busy out there. We've had a number of our engines that have been out for weeks, specifically our Type 3 engine, 8433. That continues to be deployed. We're looking at another crew rotation here coming up, and with the activity continuing like it is, we don't anticipate that engine returning anytime soon. I think as long as fire season's going on and we're at resource drawdown, that'll be out there deployed. We also have, we had a immediate need strike team request that came in last week, and we were able to support Engine 366 along with some of our regional partners to respond up. We had an immediate threat to some lives and some structures. They were able to engage and go up there and do some really good work up in the Christmas Valley area in the South Lake Tahoe Basin for our neighbors there. And they continue to be out as well. We're monitoring what they're up to and have been communicating with them. And then our Type 1 engine has returned from assignment. Our second Type 1 engine is out of service, mechanical, still getting worked on. Actually, it's back here in Sacramento, so that's good news. They're working on that. And then along with that, we've had a number of deployments recently with our Type 3 team. They've been deployed up to Nevada Yuba Placer Unit 2 times, most recently to the bridge incident that they're currently on today. And they will, a number of our folks will be coming back later this evening after a successful deployment there, and they were able to get that fire turned back over to the unit. And then in between those two, we had the Caldor fire kickoff. And so our folks went up there, engaged early on a very dynamic incident, and did a great job setting up the incident for long-term success for the Type 1 team that came in. So we're still early on historically in fire season, so that's probably going to continue for a while.
I think one of our biggest challenges is the amount of fire activity that is happening really right here at home, and then the staffing here at the district. As you know, 2 weeks ago we changed up some of our staffing matrices, moved around from browning out the engines to browning out the medics, and also changed the move-up capabilities on our medics across the district, and we're watching that. And for us, the balance is homes that are burning, people that are endangered, and sending companies out, and then sending out the IMTs, knowing that that would have an impact back here.
Immediate impact
at home.
Here, yeah.
So the biggest thing that I've seen, and thank you to all of you, is our ability to backfill those positions as we have sent people out. And you all have done just a tremendous job on each one of these events. By the end of the day or by early in the evening is that all of the companies are back into service again here locally and providing service. And so again, we understand the impact that has on you, your family, the amount of hours that you're working here. Our goal has been, just like the bridge fire, of getting our units up, getting them into position once it is turned from really the fire attack to a mop-up, of getting our resources back. And I think that is truly the right thing to do, is that when we're losing homes and we're evacuating people, is that we will respond and we will be able to do that. So some really good stuff on there, some good updates on the Dixie fire and also on the Caldor fire. Yep. And as you said, over there in Christmas, our crews did just an outstanding job of being able to get into there. But we want to reinforce the impact that we know it has on all of you back here and the expectations. I would say, looking at the first week, the changes that we have made a positive impact on staffing. And while there are still some challenges, we still have the SRP Academy that is getting closer to coming out. I just noticed that the Fire Academy is just past halfway. Yep. And then the laterals are moving forward. And again, we're still holding steady with a large group that is in there. The other one that never seems to leave us is COVID. And the updates from COVID. I have had a lot of conversations with you all in fire stations on vaccines or not vaccines, testing. As we've said, and all the way through, we've watched and followed the direction from public health. and it has been a bouncing ball. But right now where it sits is that they had originally said that every 7 days, if you're non-vaccinated, you would have to be tested. And now the direction, and we'll get the final direction next week, but the direction right now is that from the state or from the county is not sustainable. And so right now it looks like we're going to stay status quo, is that if you have signs or symptoms, you've had certain exposures, you'll be tested.
Contact tracing.
Other than that, we'll stay where it is at, and there has not been any change as far as we have heard on vaccines at this time.
Yep. We've seen a couple of recent updates or things coming out from county health, from the Sac County EMSA, and we're watching that closely. But like you said, it's one of those things, the bouncing ball is moving around. We're staying adaptable, which is important. We'll continue to follow their direction. But the latest about not being mandatory for the weekly testing is a big change that we'll gather all the information and continue to move forward with that. So.
And I think next week, on what day was that next week, is
the effective date of Policy 5200 or Protocol 5200 is the 13th of September. The memo that just recently came out that some of you may have seen was the 2nd of September, indicating about the testing and not being sustainable to be highly recommended but not mandated. So that was a big change for us. We were leaning forward to be in front of what that might look like if it was mandated, but the most recent information is that it's highly recommended but won't be mandated. And we'll be putting out a bulletin update as well for everybody on what that looks like. And then I think it's incredibly important, like we mentioned, stay adaptable and flexible, and we'll continue to move forward for the best for our members and to follow the mandates.
The last thing that I have is kind of a big item here on my list. Last Tuesday, August 31st, we had our second membership meeting. It is a meeting in which we opened up and invited folks to come in. We spent most of the morning. Three of the updates that I want to give you from that conversation. The first one was a lot of conversation about the updates to the stations and some of the remodels and bathrooms that are going on. So Station 41 and Station 53 have been completed. Each of them had an additional bathroom or a bathroom that was there, remodeled the bathroom, added a shower to those. I think the cost of each of those was about maybe between $3,000 and $4,000. We were able to last year in our facilities group, we really have all the different trades that are there. So really the cost of those was our own internal cost for the materials and a few of the other items there. So we were able to do both of those. There was some talk about it was, hundreds of thousands of dollars to do that. Neither one of those were. It was very minimal. And then Station 21 will be the next one that will probably be in about a month. They'll start over there. And I think it's important that our goal was that every station has multiple bathrooms. They have multiple showers that are in there. If you look at us as an organization, the diversity in our organization, it is right in today's time that we have those facilities that are in place. We want and we know that there is a direct connection between the job we do and the cancer, and that the ability to get back, shower, clean up, get that clothes off, clean yourself up has a definite impact and a positive impact on your exposure at that time. The last one is Station 23. Station 23 will be our biggest challenge. Just because of the way the place is laid out, the facility itself. We're actually looking at that one is that can we do something, maybe like a total remodel of that station. Of course, that would be additional funding to be able to do that, but we'll work through that one as we move forward. The other items that we're looking at is that these places are our homes, and what are some of the things that we can do to improve life inside those fire stations. And I think there's a large group of people today that have CPAP devices at night that they sleep with, and separating areas and being aware of some of those things and some of those comforts that we have within the fire stations.
Yeah, and the commitment, Chief, as you mentioned there, I think we talked about the carcinogens and removal and some of that focus getting to a point where we've identified those as a priority and making those changes has been because of our communication with the membership and our collaboration together to really work on a successful outcome when it comes to that. So that was a really great thing to show as an organization for us to get there. And like you said too, with facilities, having our own internal electricians and plumbers and general contractors, what a phenomenal way to work together and fiscally make those happen in such a short turnaround time. So kudos to everybody involved there.
One of the, when I first got here in 16, I was met with some members that were concerned with our ability to donate leave to other members. So mostly people that had been hurt off duty. I believe at the time we had a member that had played football and had an ACL, which was a significantly long injury, and people had donated time to him at that time to be able to get through there. The district had stopped the donations of you being able to do that. It actually was a IRS law that didn't allow that. And so in 16 and 17, we worked through what we ended up calling the catastrophic leave program, so that both on staff or in the field, you could do a donation to catastrophic leave. And then as people had struggles, they could use that time. One of the recent things in one of the conversations was to change the name from catastrophic leave to donated leave. And part of it was I don't know if you would just get some connection to a negative side,
a stigma.
had started with catastrophic. So we worked with folks in HR, and we will take it to the board of changing the name from catastrophic leave to donated leave. The rest of it, as far as the program and everything, will stay the same. But the membership, you all felt strongly that we should not call it catastrophic leave and change the name to donated leave. So that was another topic that was talked about quite a bit while we were there.
And just to plug again, as it comes around time, highly encourage folks to be a part of that program. We've seen multiple occasions for our members to be supported with it, and the value has been incredible for those folks that have needed it. So very much encouraged when it comes around time to get involved there.
Thank you. I wish I would have thought of that. That was perfect segue of the amount of people that have continued to work that normally would not have had a paycheck during that time, to continue their benefits during that time. So again, I think it's maybe 8 or 10 hours that you donate during that time, but the effect on the other end has been just huge in a positive way for helping members out. So yes, when that comes out, we'll send out another reminder. We'll make sure that the FDC has it on there too, so that thing is in place then. Yep. The last thing that we really talked about and spent a lot of time was kind of two areas, which was our culture within the fire service and at Metro, and recruitment and retention and outreach of folks that are there. We had a lot of talk about us as all of us as a agency that is a very diverse agency, the differences that we have, what training have we provided for all of us to be able to work together, and then that kind of went into recruitment and some of the recruitment activities that have been done, social media, the connection to a number of different areas. And one of the things that we talked a lot about, and I think it's important, and for me as the fire chief, I think on recruitment, and for the organization, we do different projects, and we really do them part-time. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by part-time is that you are on a fire company, you're assigned some type of position or some type of a project to manage, and really on your days off or when you find time, you're able to do that. And we really have done that. I know since I have been here, and even before that, we have done recruitment. And if we look back over the years, we would hear ourselves say, well, we get thousands of people show up, so really what do we have to do as far as recruitment? But it really is important that we do that outreach and that we do the recruitment side of it. And today, it's even more important. And Tim White has taken the position. He's been kind of involved with COVID over this last year, and there's been some limitations that they have been able to do. But if we're really serious about recruitment, we're serious about having a diverse work group, finding the best people that are available out there and bringing them and having them work at Metro, then we have to be able to stand behind that and do that. And so with that said, Tim has agreed to come on staff the 1st of October. and to be able to be that person for us and to be able to do it full time. Being at 106 and other projects that he has, it takes that time away. But he is going to be the lead in the program, be able to be that connection for us. And I think that is the key thing with recruitment, is having him there, but it's the amount of people that support him.
Yep.
And we have really seen that with like a program like the peer support. Is Jeff is the one that is the person behind it, but he has a whole group of peer supporters that have different interests or different connections to people, and they're able to do that. Tim is going to do the same thing with his group, but he'll be that person that'll be the lead as far as our recruitment, and it'll be full time for that.
I think that consistency and that leadership position of that program is going to be a huge benefit for us as an organization to focus on some of that stuff as far as diversity and outreach. So that'll be a very positive change. And as we look as what goes through the end of the year and what that does going forward, we'll continue to look at it and see where we need to do better. And as we always do, we're adaptable and know that we can get better in some places. So this is another win for the organization to identify that as a place where we need to put some more assistance in to keep us going forward as Metro Fire.
The last subject was when we talked about culture. One of the areas that came up, we spent a lot of times talking about our differences, and we talked about training. And it's how do we provide training for an organization, the organization of our size. There was some conversation about online training, target solutions, some other models that are there. I'll be the first to admit that when I have to sometimes do something online, I figure out what I have to do, how quick I can do it, what I need to do to be able to complete it. And while we can sometimes check a box, the quality or the output of that training may not be at where we wanted it to be. So looking at that and going through, some great conversation was on our ability to take the model like we do with Green Sheets. And we take an event and we look at the event and what happened, what were really the critical factors behind that, what were some of the things that occurred that may be outside of what maybe my norm is, and how can I learn from that to be able to move forward. But the ability to open up awareness and be able to have those conversations that are just different than what we normally would maybe do.
It's not things you're maybe not even aware of. Those were some of the interesting conversations we had at that meeting. To put them out there is other organizations or other places have experienced. Here's an opportunity for us to talk about it as a crew or as a battalion or as an organization. And then identifying, what is a good way to handle some of those gray areas, things that you can't tangibly just say, here's what you do to deal with this. Let's have a conversation about it. How are we going to learn from that? Maybe provide some tools for success, best practices as part of that training, but something a little more in depth than, like you mentioned, like an online training would potentially involve, where you're having a good group conversation. We've seen some real good feedback from that when we've done that in some of the settings we've been able to provide. So looking forward to what that looks like, and we'll continue to develop that plan and move that forward as part of that conversation. Again, I think that's another win.
I do. I think the ability to look at what's going on here as an organization and what things are outside and how we apply them back into here. So that really is kind of the things that I had on my list. Do you have anything else on yours?
I'm good. I know everybody's getting ready to move on to another cup of coffee or something probably. So thank you guys, everybody out there, for your time, your commitment to continue and provide that service out there. And I neglected to mention the initial attack strike team, like you did, Chief, up to the bridge incident and what we were able to do there. Phenomenal job. Please keep up the good work. And we're committed to continue supporting everybody out there the best that we can as well.
Strong work. Keep going and keep the feedback coming.
Thanks, everybody.